I'm talking on role-playing games today. Kind of like I find that it's not just a game for nerds. It's kind of like a game of chance too. Like you roll dice and you get an outcome. So I would like to have a volunteer. Steve?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Sit in the chair.
I get to too.
Yay. Okay, so you're walking in the woods, and you have two paths, one on the left and one on the right. What do you want to take?
I'll go left.
You go left? Okay. So about 15 minutes, you see a cabin ahead with a light. What do you do?
I go into it.
Well, the door's locked. Now what do you do?
Break a window.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
Do you climb through?
Climb through, yeah.
Okay. As you climb through, you find a bear sitting on a throne of skulls. He's kind of like a man bear, kind of drooling. He says, "I'm the Lord of Darkness. You need to find me a staff." What do you do?
Go find a staff.
All right. So as you're wandering, did you go out?
I did.
Okay, you left.
Yeah.
So as you're wandering through the woods, you go back to the paths. So now you're one that you can either head back to where you came or go down the other road. Which do you pick?
Go down the other road.
All right. So you've been walking for about half an hour to an hour, and you hear some voices. What do you do?
I ask who it is.
Well, they're too far away. You can't see them.
I listen closer.
You hear some indistinct chanting. What do you do?
I go see if they have a staff.
All right. The cultists then proceed to tie you to the stake.
Great. Fantastic.
So, what do you do?
I can't really do anything because
Well-
I'm tied to a stake.
You can, but anyway, that's just an example of how role-playing goes.
Gotcha.
So,
Nice.
thanks, my volunteer. So, the first commercial role-playing game was actually Dungeons and Dragons, and it was in 1974 when the first commercial Dungeons and Dragons was able to be bought. Now, after a couple of years, people decided that it wasn't like the best game ever, and they actually started protesting that this game should not be made available to public anymore because it was cultist and dangerous to use the imagination in such a way. They actually made a movie about this called Mazes and Monsters that was a cautionary tale. I don't know if any of you have seen it. So it actually stars Tom Hanks in his very early days. And he's the main character in this story. And as it goes along, he is exploring this magical world, and they get too involved in it, and he kind of goes crazy. And so it was just something they were like, oh, we can't have that on the market. We must take it off. Obviously, Dungeons & Dragons didn't get too much affected by it. It's still around today, and it's even more popular than it is now. In Dungeons & Dragons, it's grown. You can have more realms, more fantasy adventures that you ever had before, like the Call of Cthulhu. So in this game, you can never win. You just have to outlast your friends in a test of endurance against cultists, against the darkest creatures of the earth. It's pretty great. Also, in the World of Darkness, it's a horror game where you are werewolves and vampires interacting with other horror creatures. And as you go along, you are the horror creature of stories. It's kind of cool. Also, there's Shadowrun. So it's a science fiction game, which is different than the others because this one isn't fantasy-based. This one is a futuristic world. So a meteor has passed by and all the humanity has mutated, which is kind of cool. And you have super advanced technology. So you have laser guns, you can hack with your mind like a rigger. As you do this, you join forces with other runners to complete or disturb society. So you don't want to be like either help the government or against the government. So these are tools that have helped expand human creativity and freedom of the mind. LARPing is also another one of these. So in LARPing, you can be whoever you want to be for however long you are LARPing. So as you go out and create your own worlds with other people, you join other groups and So actually, another thing is it has affected our media today. There's a movie called Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it is a wonderful, awful movie. And actually, it's the same company who later produced Lord of the Rings with Peter Jackson. And so, mourners have accepted the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and so as they saw that, they were like, oh, Lord of the Rings, and so it's grown even bigger. It's also in all of our media today. Something about Dungeons and Dragons role-playing that gets made fun of a lot. So it's very prominent in our culture today. They actually have made Houses and Humans a parody, Zombie Orpheus Entertainment. So what they do is they have taken the world of Dungeons and Dragons and made it into a world where they pretend to be playing humans. So they go around and they're like, how do we cross the street? And they have to figure out how to cross the street. And it's pretty entertaining. They've also made another thing, what's called Journey Quest, and they've made LARPing, but they've made it into a movie of LARPing. It's pretty great. Then there's MMORPGs, which I'm all sure you've heard of. They're the online ones, like Warcraft, the Guild. People have come together to make nations inside of them. They're from all across the world. It reaches everyone. So everyone, anywhere, can be friends, part of this group, and that is it, the end.